got Joe over here from Casper Labs.
Casper Association.
Sorry, Casper Association. I gotta get those two set. But Chris, we're here at the Texas Blockchain Council. We're here at Consensus, and Joe, you're gonna tell us a little bit about what you guys have going on. Yep. And before we do that, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, no, this is our second year attending Consensus, sponsoring as well. I work for Casper Association. We're based in Zug, Switzerland. We're a layer 1 blockchain, proof of stake. So what really drew me to Casper and really to blockchain, I dove deep on the blockchain tech around 2012, Bitcoin, and got into the potential of what Ethereum can offer right around 2017, and got deep into NFTs and what smart contracts enable and empower creators and all kinds of businesses. So yeah.
What attracted you to the space? I mean, you woke up one day and you're like, hey, this NFT thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think, a lot of people have, their perceptions of NFTs based on a lot of the headlines that, come across, news feeds, particularly around, the hype cycle around NFTs and price, and focusing on price of a lot of these, high value transactions around NFTs. I'm really interested in the smart contract capabilities and the ability to empower creators and empower businesses to do things that weren't possible with within the Web 2. And so, empowering creators, I think, is a big focus for me personally, and also for Casper. And unique properties of the smart contract standards that Casper offers, I think, is really interesting as opposed to other chains. We do believe in a multi-chain ecosystem. I think what's interesting as this.
I can't say, you're not allowed to say that.
Oh yeah, I know.
We've all got our own little tribe. There's only one. Right?
I know. There's only one or two out there. Yeah.
Everything else is gonna die.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think as the space matures and as the pie actually gets bigger in terms of applications that are possible within Web3 and what blockchain enables and what smart contracts enable, what NFTs enable, I think we'll start to see like real adoption. And they're definitely, we're seeing this now also with Casper, bridges to, Ethereum, non-EVM chains, and, kind of the interoperability start to play out.
Listen, I was talking to Ryan Condren over at Lumerin, and they're building a hash rate that you can purchase hash rate on the Ethereum and have it deposited, Bitcoin deposited, the hash rate direct towards a Bitcoin wallet. So if Ethereum and Bitcoin can start working together, who knows where this ends up?
Yeah, I think eventually we're going to see, it might not be, 1 or 2 years down the road, but like we are building towards a future where you are seeing this interoperability between chains, between, you want to take advantage of the unique capabilities of what Bitcoin has to offer. The very secure, data storage of Bitcoin. It's really interesting also some of the developments and use cases that people are now applying to, Bitcoin, like ordinals or inscriptions.
Some Bitcoiners are going to be very upset.
That's okay. That's okay. I mean, it's great to have these conversations and get people kind of thinking about this and really challenging kind of
the capabilities outside of the narrow focus.
Exactly right. And I think if you challenge those that are, either Bitcoin maxis, Ethereum maxis, Solana maxis, those terms get thrown around. But I think at the end of the day, it's important to have like these siloed ecosystems, really have those loyal fan bases and loyal kind of communities to really build out and make that, those ecosystems mature in their own right. And then we will start to see, as we are seeing now, kind of those bridges, like literally those bridges to other chains, and merging those communities, merging those capabilities, cherry picking some of the best use cases and capabilities of certain chains over others. And eventually we will see, ways for users to interact seamlessly in Web3, just as seamlessly as we're interacting in Web 2.
So where are you seeing right now? You're talking about those strong user bases for each network. Where are you seeing for Casper? Where are you seeing a lot of traction right now?
Yeah.
And where is that growth headed?
I think there's a lot of opportunities in niche areas that are kind of underdeveloped and not really fully explored. There's a lot of chains that are very broad scope use case where Ethereum has a broad base of developers, decentralized, building a lot of different use cases, but more specific niche areas, especially around financial smart contracts, for example, using open standards around financial smart contracts, I think is a relatively unexplored area and room for a lot of growth potential. It's an area that Casper is extremely focused on.
Are you seeing that right now with financial institutions asking you, doing some exploration around it?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of financial institutions, do have smart contracts that they use within kind of their financial instruments. But a lot of the times they are literally, a smart contract of a PDF, right? And so what we're seeing is like the need for these smart contracts to actually, the wheels and the nuts and bolts, so to speak, of the smart contract to be, those mechanisms that are actually defining the cash flow, all of the financial instruments, need to be built into those smart contracts.
Right.
And we do see a need and a desire to, build on open standards, because I think that's also is what is required. You don't want these very siloed, centralized systems to take full advantage of the potential of blockchain and full advantage of smart contracts. And I think a way forward that we're looking at it at Casper is with open standards, open financial smart contract standards.
So right now, maybe just doing PDF, it's, if you're looking at it as a control panel, there's either an on switch or an off switch.
Correct.
And you're looking at saying, hey, we need to take this, break it out so you have a full array of controls, so that when things integrate back and forth and with other institutions integrate with each other,
that's right,
things don't break.
That's right. I mean, and you need those standards to be put in place. And so that will take time, right? But when you show the benefits of what, those standards can offer in terms of interoperability between institutions, and what you end up getting is a much broader use case, and you're able to empower, underserved communities, for example. You're able to open up a lot more opportunities for liquidity in different financial assets.
Well, let's put a pin. Let's break.
Yeah,
like double click, as Ryan likes to say.
Yeah,
double click on the underserved communities. Where do you see that? And the financial instruments, and how does that play in?
Yeah, sure.
How do you see that playing in?
I mean, traditionally, right? You need you need to trust the institutions are capable of managing financial assets, and we trust governments, and we trust banks, and we trust these things. But we do see, obviously, especially recently, there's some risk in that. It's not without risk.
There's some bad actors out there.
There's some bad actors out there, and so with smart financial contracts, you are able to transparently provide those mechanisms where you can have underserved communities operate, very trustfully or trustlessly, right? In a way, and be able to participate in the upside of certain financial instruments that they might not have had access to, right? Participate from like a tokenization side. So like participate in real estate investment, for example, or any financial assets that can be tokenized, right? If you can do that in a way that is clear and standardized with smart financial contracts, you are able to empower communities that might not necessarily have access to some of those things that are capable, that are possible today.
So access to financial instruments, access to things that they didn't have. It's interesting when you look at, there's a lot of things that we have access to that we take for granted.
Yeah.
ID is one of them. Understanding, title is, in Africa, the idea of title of a property is non-existent.
Exactly.
And so it sounds like the more capabilities of the more refined niches that are built out, use cases.
Yeah.
And as long as that's integrates in with other financial, institutions.
That's right.
More of the underserved community can access that.
Absolutely right. And you'll see like first movers come in and use some of these open source standards and use smart financial contracts in a way that clearly demonstrate the power of blockchain. And I think once you see some of those things take shape, you will start to see bigger players come in and understand like the efficiency of being able to use use those instruments in a very powerful way.
Now, where do you see the from a regulatory standpoint? Where are you seeing pushback? Where are you seeing the need to representation?
Yeah,
both on the state and on the federal level.
I mean, look, I think the need for regulation. There's probably very little argument there across the board, at least from our partners that we're seeing. I think regulation is necessary in a broad spectrum. There is pushback, right? Because what we're talking about ultimately is a technology that is extremely disruptive and disrupting a lot of players that are
may not win that. they like that money flow,
right? And so we're in these shaky times right now where it's still not clear how, let's say, the incumbents of the current systems are going to be able to participate in this new system when the infrastructure is actually leveraging older models, right? And so I think what we're finding now, and you've heard this probably over and over, especially here at this conference, is educating those incumbent players.
It's the magic word.
Right, exactly. So education, and what you're doing now, with this podcast, for example, and content is getting the word out. And, I think it's important for people to really dive deep on this technology because, it is extremely powerful. It can be disruptive, but it can be, it can benefit, the, traditional players in whatever industry, in many ways.
So you're based out of Switzerland.
Yes.
What was the decision around moving to Switzerland and being based in Switzerland?
Decision was based.
We're double click on this a little bit.
Well, the decision started with a girl. Okay, so I'm from the Midwest.
Okay. Oh, okay. So
right. Yeah,
but I thought this was going to be a business discussion. But okay, all right.
It is. It's all business. Yeah. No. Moved there.
She wanted to go to Switzerland.
Well, my wife is from Austria. Actually, we live right on the border.
Okay.
Been there for about 12 years now.
Okay.
And what's interesting is I live right on the border of what many call, might be familiar with, Crypto Valley.
Yeah.
Right. And so Switzerland and the region around it is really kind of defining itself as Crypto Valley, really as a way to kind of highlight the very there's really good regulatory environment around crypto, around blockchain companies within Switzerland, within Liechtenstein, and a lot of the major players in this space. The Ethereum Foundation is in Zug, Switzerland, Near Foundation, Casper Association, Casper Labs. We're all based in Switzerland. For that main reason, actually, there's very good regulatory clarity.
And have you seen that growing lately? Have you seen it contracting more with moves to Switzerland?
Yeah, I mean, over the past few years, I think there's something like in terms of growth, right? It's hard to deny the presence of this very small kind of country in the middle of Europe. Within Crypto Valley, there's something like 11 unicorn crypto companies in this area, so they're doing something right.
Yeah, they're it's a Silicon Valley, so that was that's
right.
They California, and now the U.S. is sending all of that over to Switzerland right now.
Well, I mean, yeah,
this is
that can be
not to ruffle too many.
Well, look, I mean, it's important to kind of see where things are working.
Yep.
And regulation and regulatory, clarity.
That's it. Yeah. And I don't think that there's, you have certainly contingent of people that say, hey, we want to know this crypto, we want no rules.
Right.
And good luck with that.
Right.
But I think a lot of the players in the space, most of the players that at least I talk to, they're fine with they want the clarity.
Yeah.
Right. We don't want to use 90-year-old rules.
That's right. Yeah.
To regulate things that are for today's day and age and technologies.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a foundation, you don't know it can constantly move. your house will keep falling down. So you got to go somewhere where you're going to get that regulatory clarity, which seems to be, Switzerland's done a great job of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately, the attention span and like the the desire to dive deeper on any number of these, attention grabbing headlines around some of these disastrous, crypto affiliated projects, I'll put it that way, right? A lot of bad actors in this space can really disrupt the perception of what crypto is, the potential of empowering, not only empowering people and businesses, and what blockchain is, right? And unfortunately, you're getting a lot of attention grabbing headlines that are extremely negative around people losing a lot of money. But it's really due to the fact that there's very little regulatory clarity in this space.
It really is unfortunate. I heard projects that even here in Texas, right? So we were looking at it. There's a mining company that was looking at going into they're putting in a facility. And as soon as the 1751 popped up, like, hey, that's regulatory risk that we're not quite comfortable with at the moment. Because our models wouldn't allow, if this changes, our models no longer, they would need to be adjusted. And so, you see it on the local level, you see it on the national level. People can't deploy money if they don't know what the rules are for that money. We're seeing the effects of that right now, right?
Absolutely.
With the interest rates. Like, they're given one framework and suddenly 8 months later we get a completely opposite framework.
Changing the rules.
So now, is there anything that we haven't touched on that we need to make sure that we touch on?
Look, I mean, I'm personally very passionate about NFTs, the creator economy, and how that is empowering creators to
Are you a creator yourself?
I'm a creator myself.
Okay, what do you do?
Music.
Yeah. All right, you DJ, and now you're doing Casper Labs, and now you're doing the DJ bit?
That's right. No, making music, and I think there's a lot of potential for artists, especially musicians, to take advantage of.
What is the cut that the centralized locations take out of a musician? Like, I don't know anything about that space. What is that?
I mean, the music industry has gone through some hard times recently, and is notorious for. It's a bloated industry, right? There's a lot of stakeholders within the industry itself, from the artists to the publishers to record labels to.
There's a lot of middlemen throughout that process.
So, the ability of smart contracts to be able to abstract a lot of those, functionalities within the industry away, and really cut out a lot of that, bloat and the middleman infrastructure. There's a lot of potential there, but again, it's a system that is built over many decades, and
a lot of entrenched interests. Are very happy not to have it move forward.
Exactly. So I mean, I would say NFTs as a instrument to empower creativity, to empower entrepreneurship. I think I would just really encourage people to explore the potential that NFTs have as a technology, and not necessarily as a speculative, financial, investment, but really around the technology. That's something that we're very focused on at Casper, is making sure that our NFT standards provide real utility in a lot of different use cases. Creator economy being one of them. I would say look for the next wave of the NFT hype cycle to being all about utility.
Yeah, no, it's really cool seeing what can be built on the NFT functionality. You see the image, but that's a centralized server.
Right.
Yeah, but it's the functionality, that key. What can it do?
Exactly.
What can it unlock? And so, having some discussions with, guys that own data, some of on the enterprise side. I think we're seeing some conversations on the, what can be done, incorporating the NFT functionality with data to lease out data, sell data.
Sure.
And so it is really that NFT side is a bit fascinating.
Yeah.
Past the, squiggles and I don't even
have a squiggle.
I don't have a squiggle.
Do you have any NFTs?
What is an NFT?
I'm encouraging you to go deep down that rabbit hole.
I went down the rabbit hole a little bit. So,
Okay.
So
All right.
there's some I got a funky Twitter handle. That's,
Okay.
It's some DGen discourse.
Excellent. Well, you're saying all the right things. Music to my ears.
My traditional finance background is looking at it going like, what the heck did you do here? So
Hey, you're a pioneer. This is the.
I hear pioneers get shot, and then,
Well, look.
and then settlers come in and make all the money.
Look, we're taking all the risk as pioneers. This is the Wild West.
That is the
right.
Wild
This is
West.
still the Wild West of crypto, Wild West of NFTs, Wild West of blockchain. And what you're seeing here at this conference and what you guys are doing, it's those that are actually committed and understand that like there's a future in this space, there's a future in this technology. And yeah, we are the pioneers, and so we take a little bit of risk. But you know what?
Everybody calls us crazy. Let's say at some point we're either like the insane guy at the end of the day, or we're the guy like, oh wow, that guy was really smart.
You know what? And I'm putting my bets on that to stick around, build in this space. I don't think this is going
My
away.
ego is going with that. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not crazy. I'm just ahead of my time.
That's right. There's enough people here that we can self.
That's really why we
Self support. That's right.
That's
Yeah.
we're like supporting each other. Like it's
We're
okay,
doing
you
this,
do-
right?
Yeah.
Are we still doing this? Are we still doing this? Okay. All right.
We bought ourselves a support network. That's what we did. Like that's all it is.
That's all this is. Yeah. It's one big support network.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming by, Joe.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you stopping by.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. We had a great time here at Consensus. At the Texas Blockchain Council, we are striving to be the nexus between traditional industries, banking, finance, legal, energy, and the digital asset industry. So we want to help you get your brand in front of those kinds of companies with B2B opportunities. Reach out to us if that's of interest for membership or for sponsorship at the summit. Hope to see you there in November in Fort Worth. Thanks again. We look forward to seeing you at the summit.